Hello, this is Group 3. We have 4 members: Sarah, Aaron, Tanzil, and Matthew. Um, we picked SpaceX as our company for strategic analysis, and this is our presentation. The company we have picked again was SpaceX. SpaceX is the first privately funded liquid propellant rocket to reach orbit. I'm referring to Falcon 1 2008. In recent years, SpaceX has been a leading name in the world of space travel, especially their reusable rockets is what makes them unique. Elon Musk, that is the founder, CEO, and CTO, and a billionaire. It's his vision, his hard work, and his persistence that made SpaceX a successful company. With a tough time faced initially, SpaceX quickly rose up to the success. First few failures caused setback to company, but Elon Musk and his team kept on working hard, and until as soon as they got their first launch, it was a success, one after another. They had multiple projects that were successful, and then they were able to grab some of the big contracts, especially collaboration with NASA, which was one of the pioneers of space travel in the space travel industry. um, the competitive advantage that gives SpaceX you know an edge is their in-house production, which has benefited the company financially. SpaceX manufactured rockets within US to deliver sustainable and high standard results. The research and development was made possible because they could control the in-house manufacturing better and keep it aligned with their financial long-term goals. And now for section 2, my group member will continue.
The space industry has much to be explored and developed. This generation of humans have the unique ability and technology to learn more than anyone before. SpaceX has proven that through their model of reusability and commercialized space travel, which is a huge statement for technology. Space travel was unheard of just a few decades ago, and now their ability to reuse rocket boosters is a reality, which drastically decreases costs and increases sustainability and environmentally friendly organizations. Operationally, the aerospace industry involves carbon emissions, but SpaceX has been able to lower their impact on the environment through their sustainable supply chain, manufacturing, and operation. The economy can be a tricky situation to maneuver. There are so many external pieces that have an effect on the industry. If the economy is in a state of decline, then the aerospace organizations will also feel that decrease. There are a lot of people who don't view space travel as a necessary expense. Private funding has become more popular as seen with companies like Blue Origin and SpaceX. Elon Musk has a big stake in the company, and he is the reason that they are financially able to continue their work. The Cold War was a big turning point for space travel. NASA was developed, and the space race against the Soviet Union placed heavy competition on space flight capabilities. Since then, there have been developments in the aerospace industry and regulations for ensuring the safety of everyone involved. In particular, the Department of Transportation has Commercial Space Transportation, or CST, which ensures safety procedures and national security. Space can be difficult to regulate since no one technically owns the area. However, the UN Space Treaty set forth the idea that exploring space has more to do with humanity and not an individual country. The competitive environment involves the analysis of Porter's 5 forces, which are competitive rivalry, supplier power, buyer power, threat of substitution, and threat of new entry. When it comes to competitive rivalry, there are 2 major players involved within the aerospace industry that are similar to SpaceX. Blue Origin envisions a future of livable space colonies that emulate Earth-like conditions. This is similar to how SpaceX wants to build sustainability on Mars. The United Launch Alliance develops rockets. However, unlike SpaceX, their equipment is not as reusable. Supply power in space travel is very high. There are few suppliers in the field, which give them greater control on the market. Finding alternatives can be difficult, but SpaceX has approached this by manufacturing materials in-house. This allows them to control their position in the industry without relying on other suppliers. Buyer power is also high, as buyers are few and far between for rockets. NASA is a big organization that can offer hefty monetary contracts to potential organizations. SpaceX is able to leverage their differentiating factors like reusability in order to lift them above the competition and provide better services to consumers. There are very small threats of substitution and new entry into the industry. SpaceX offers unique products and services that secure their handle on the market. It is also a hard and expensive industry for other developers to enter into. SpaceX capitalized on a need and innovative thinking, which makes it hard for anyone else to share the market.
All right, so for section 3, we're going to discuss industry growth and market share on this first portion. So SpaceX shows promise in the sense that the products and services that they provide will help take larger portions of the market over time. So if we break it down as the cash cow, they have a live streaming channel that shows high earnings and stable cash flows with very low expenses. If you look at it the aspect of stars, there's no real competitors within the market besides the prototypical ones that were already there. The difference is that SpaceX has really low expenses when it comes to production. Some question marks when it comes to everything, though, will be the supply chain and procurement, because they need to ensure that they're able to get all their components on time, and by doing so, it'll help sustain their growth. Dogs, there's not really applicable for this organization. If you look at the SWOT analyst, some strengths is the cost structure of the organization as a whole. Like I said, one of the biggest things that they have is the fact that their components are so cheap, and it helps lower the cost of making the rockets and everything. Some weaknesses is current investments and revenue are weak due to startup. The initial investments are high, and there's not really much backing yet from other sources besides the capital that Elon puts in himself, and then the NASA contracts that they already have for sending satellites and other things like that to space and in the International Space Station. There are opportunities, though. The big one's space tourism. That program, when launched, should be a big hit, especially if they make it affordable. Them being the first to be able to offer that kind of service will put them in the forefront of everything and give them a very strong hold of the market. Threats are a little bit interesting because if you look at it, if an organization has enough capital and has the ability to be able to enter the market as is, that probably means that they're financially capable of giving everyone a run for their money. All they have to do then is start building their brand and hopefully overtake someone at that point or acquire someone else. Next, we're going to look at the ratio analyst and strategic action. The problem with this is there was no real analyst to be done because the balance sheets and income statements for SpaceX are not made public, and the only ones that are available to be seen that Ellen later went and commented on were leaked. So from what we do know, starting back in 2013, SpaceX has shown this wave pattern in growth over the last 5 years. The growth of 47%, -5, 6, 30, and finally 55. You can see the revenue increase from year to year, finishing with $2 billion in revenue back in 2018, which was the last year that we were able to see. Showing the best revenue per launch was $5 million. So this allows for better margin than their competitors, and it's all because the cost-efficient supply chain managing that they have been able to do with producing their own materials and things like that. So one potential idea SpaceX could do is work with international governments or companies and help them do missions to space. Because SpaceX is a privately funded company, they would have the opportunity to contract missions internationally. So this would allow them to hit every country that has some kind of take in space, sending satellites and things like that. It allows them the opportunity to be able to monetize that. To base off that a little bit more, if SpaceX were to go international and help other countries, this may result in a conflict of interest because of national security. Because of how advanced SpaceX is with technology, they may be able to expand space security. So there's tons of potential for the organization as a whole, And there's a lot of different avenues that the company is able to take. And I think it'll be really interesting to see which way Ellen likes to go.
Under the problem solving model, looking at SpaceX, some of the relevant facts that contribute to where SpaceX is one is climate change. With climate change, SpaceX is actually pioneering missions with NASA to go to Mars and try to make humans a multiplanetary species. With climate change posing a threat to cause mass extinction, SpaceX is utilizing that to try to get humans to go to different planets. Another thing is that SpaceX has is a pretty large share of the market when it comes to commercial space launches, and that's a tribute to their resources, capabilities, and technologies that they have currently, which has also helped them create a reusable rocket, which has never been done before. And this helps save companies millions of dollars because you don't have to build a brand new rocket. You're able to take one that's already built, it lands vertically, and they're able to just refurbish, add a couple things, and keep costs low, which is why they are able to have so many different contracts, especially with the government. And another big thing is competition is slowly rising. You got, Virgin Galactic is one of the biggest competitors. You got as well as Boeing, and you're getting more people to start investing in this industry. So the biggest problem is how does SpaceX continue their dominant share of the market? With how well they've done right now and where the trend is coming, where the growth trend is going, it's predicted to be at over a $1 trillion industry in the next decade or two is what most market analysts are looking at. And so because of this, the causes that would cause this problem are, the competition is obviously increasing as more people see how the growth is, or what the expected growth is going to be for this company. And so there's 3 different strategies that we came up with. Is they can do either innovation, expand internationally, or even enter security software. So the disadvantages and advantages. So the innovation advantages would be to you get improved technology and you're staying ahead of the competition consistently is when you are able to innovate. When it comes to disadvantages of innovation, it's very competitive to continue to innovate things. People are always coming out with bigger and better things, and you have a limited time of owning patents when it comes to technology. So eventually what you've been able to create, somebody else will have advantage, or somebody else will be able to see and potentially tweak some things and make it even better down the road. And so that again comes to how technology is always constantly improving. One of the expanding to international is you get to increase your clientele to different countries that have not really entered the space industry that much, and by doing that you're going to increase your market share because the growth is also increasing, and how much and where you're at is also going to be increasing, and you also get to increase your contracts, which is going to increase revenue for that company. But the disadvantage is by the international market demand is not all there. You have China and you have Russia as the top 2 biggest ones internationally right now. Not all countries are seeing the demand that they need that poses for the space industry. And another big thing is you're going to enter a lot of politics by going international. You're going to be dealing with a lot of highly classified information as they're working with the Department of Defense and things like that. And so will other countries want SpaceX to work with different countries and utilize with access to that kind of information? So this is why I think it kind of leads into the software security, because it kind of compares up with their contracts internationally. Right now they're working with the national security information under the Department of Defense, by launching satellites and things like that. So it also would benefit them by adding a new market. They'd get a new market segment there because they're adding security into their whole realm of space, and I think that's what they would be able to do, is because they have a great job of technology. They have some of the best minds in the world, to be able to do that. And so some of the tougher things would be is because it is a new market segment to get into. It'd be tough. It's very highly competitive right now. Everything is up to date with cybersecurity. You see a bunch of advertisements about that right now. And, Amazon has done a great job with that. So it'd be a very competitive market to get into, but none that have There's not too many that have gone into the space security software, essentially, is what it would be. So the plan of action that we kind of decided was to go with the innovation. And in order to use innovation, you're going to have to get funding, and competition are the two drivers for that to happen. Working as in the space industry, you're going to have expensive technology and resource to utilize. So to create innovation, so you're going to have to find funding. And for competition, you got to find the best minds in the world and have them compete to try to make new things. And one of the ideas would be to offer more internships, because you're in the heart of Silicon Valley right now, and I think they're looking to move to Texas, but you have great minds around you, and to get those younger guys involved would be important. And the last but not least is it's going to come down to leadership, and how well can the leadership lead these guys into knowing what they need to do and show them the vision of what the company is trying to accomplish. You need to have leadership buy-in so they can get the rest of the employees to buy in.